Hello YouTube, welcome back to Kind Heart Homestead. My name is Ben and I'm here on our off-grid property in the mountains of Virginia. Behind me is our solar shed, which is going to house all of our functional utility type items and appliances, such as the batteries, solar inverters, charge controllers, the well water pressure tank. We're also going to have a laundry room in there and a small bathroom. Let me take you into the utility room. I haven't been in here in over a month because I've been working on drywall and insulation in the rest of the building. And this is why I haven't been in here. All of the packaging materials associated with our solar components remain in there. You can see there's some large rolls of fiberglass insulation. Those are going the full 20-foot length of the building. And I need to move all the stuff out of the way so I can continue those over, then staple up my 24-inch on center paper-backed fiberglass bats. The goal is to get the drywall up on the ceiling to hold back the insulation. I don't care about it as much on the walls. If I have extra drywall left, I can put that up. But there's not going to be any traffic in this room. It's only going to be me going in to check on the solar and water components, including the hot water heater, which I forgot to mention, which is right around the corner here. That's going to be propane. So anyway, I am going to get started clearing this room out, and then I'm going to get started with the insulation. With the wall insulation now completed, I figured now was a good time to fire up the generator, run an extension cord to a small space heater that I have here in the living room area of the solar shed. Because of the freezing conditions, this is the best way to keep warm. And while I'm taking a break waiting for the building to warm up a bit, I decided it's a good time to redo the silage tarp. This is the future location of one of the gardens that we're planning to build. And because of a recent windstorm that we had, it pulled all of the sandbags off and was wrapped all around our solar panel stacks. One lesson I learned from drywalling the bathroom is that if I planned to bring a full-length 8-foot sheet piece of drywall into the room, I need to make sure not to install the insulation or the drywall in the ceiling yet. This is because the hypotenuse of the drywall sheet makes it actually taller than the room, and the only way to stand up this full sheet is to lift it into the ceiling rafters and then drop it back down into the place where it permanently needs to be installed. You can see here I'm reverting back to my impact driver instead of the drywall screw gun. I'm not that skilled with the drywall screw gun yet, and because I'm a bit more familiar with this tool, I like the impact setting to get it started, and then I just slowly use the variable speed trigger to sink it in. I might use the drywall screw gun to finish these screws off later on if I decide to mud this room, because that screw gun is really designed to release the grip it has on the screw head once it gets to the appropriate depth. And you can adjust that depth, but I do not overdrive screws with the impact driver. I know a lot of you experts out there might be worried that that's what's happening. I'm not piercing the paper. I'm actually leaving the screw heads proud. And as usual, after I finish tacking it up with the perimeter screws, I go back and mark the center of each stud, and then I trace a vertical line from the floor to the ceiling using my 6-foot level. And then that way I know exactly where the screws need to go, and it ensures that each of them hit the wood, and then I don't have to back any screws back out. So I'm up at the top of the utility room. Off camera, you can see I've been installing the insulation. Here's a bay that has not been filled yet. You can see I have the roll of insulation long going above the bay, the full 20-foot length of the building. And then this whole strip here is going to be filled with a paper-backed bat, which will be stapled and will hold up the roll of fiberglass insulation. The reason I haven't done it yet is because I was busy measuring and cutting and gluing this PVC pipe. I have a special type of tankless water heater. Instead of just using the air from the room, this is the air intake. The instructions specifically say I can use PVC or ABS. This is a 3-inch pipe, which is what that little connection point is manufactured for. So this goes up, goes over my second top plate, and then I have a little 45 adapter on the end that angles it down. I originally wanted to do a 90, so it would be flush with the soffit, but after thinking about it some more, I figured the 45 would be better. That way it doesn't have like an exact seal on the vented soffit. That way it can use all of the air across all of the soffit bays rather than relying solely on what it can suck in through that metal grill. So this should have better air flow. And I hope that the inspector thinks that's okay. But now this is up there, I can start insulating around it. And what I'd like to do today, before I wrap up, is at least just deal with the first 4 feet of the ceiling of this utility room. Similar to what I did in the bathroom, just kind of working my way across. Because this room is wider than 4 feet in every direction, it's going to take 2 pieces of drywall. So what I was thinking is I might as well just use a 4-foot sheet cut to the 5 feet or so of the length of the room. That'll put it just before this plug outlet, so I won't actually have to cut any holes in this big piece. Same with this. This will be in the smaller sliver piece. And it's better for me on the ceiling to be dealing with details on a smaller piece, because large pieces are very difficult, especially dealing with this greener board that weighs more. So what I'm going to do now is install the 4-foot wide sheet of drywall after I get this insulation up. Well, that's it for this week's video. I'm pretty pleased with the progress that I made, even though every time I work in these confined spaces, it's very frustrating. Things constantly are falling down. In this situation, I had to remove the ladder from the room every time I wanted to leave because the ladder was kind of blocking me in. I have a whole stack of ladders here. This is where I would put them when I would take them out. Ceiling looks good. Wallboard looks good. I have the vent pipe going into the ceiling. So next time I'll be able to potentially knock this out. Although I wasn't planning to finish out this room like I was the rest of the building. I just happened to have extra drywall boards. I was hoping that if I had time after finishing this room, then I can work on the unvented soffit on the gable end here. That'll have to come in a future video. So please subscribe, like this video, and I'll see you next time on Kind Heart Homestead. Thanks.